Hello, and we are live with episode 7 of season 7 of the Sausage Factory. We've got a late start tonight, but better late than never. So I'm your moderator, Pizzal. Joining me tonight, I have got Raiho. How have you been, man?
I've been doing all right. We've had some fun stuff going on my end of the woods lately, but made it here tonight.
Made it here tonight. Always good to see you. It had been a little while. I know you've been a very busy man with work and with having children, and it's a full-time job, and then you come home to a full-time job. So
it's a fun time. I just came back. I was just telling you guys, I came back from the hospital just maybe a half hour ago. My kid's got 3 stitches. Nice little gash on his head, so hopefully he doesn't wake up upset in the next little while, and I can chat with you guys. But we'll see. If I disappear, that's why.
We'll see. But good to have you back. Also with me tonight's Lauren. What's up, Lauren? How you doing, man? Before you say anything, I should have added this to your introduction.
Oh God, here it goes.
Also with me tonight is probably the world's biggest Halloween 2018 fan, Lauren. How you doing, Lauren?
I don't know. I think Mike might have me beat on it. I'm doing well, better than last week. Still getting over a cold. House is still a little bit weird with the loss of our family member from last week.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's a better week, better times. Did my research on 1988 and 1989 moments later, so I'm ready.
Well, here 1988 was such a good year. We were going to do it twice. You know what I mean? We were just going to, it was so nice. We were going to do it twice.
I just took your word for it, man. I just assumed you knew what was up. So
I know. I mean, so whoever threw out there the idea of doing 88, I was like, sounds good. Because I thought we did. I thought we'd only done 87. I'd forgotten about 88, and we did that show last season. So I mean, it's not like we did it, 5 years ago.
Exactly.
Last season.
And I think it's great that none of us picked up on it. None of us. How many of us are in the chat?
I thought about it, but I was like, okay, well, that is a good year.
Yeah. The movie sounds like this is going to be great.
Yeah. So, oh goodness, yeah. But yeah. Also with me tonight is Jay the Stingray. What's up, Stingray?
Good. How's everybody doing?
Doing very well. We may well have some more people join us here as the show goes on. We will just see. But how have you guys been? Have you seen any Ryan, we've not seen you in a little while. Have you seen any good movies lately?
I can't think of any good movies lately that I've seen. I finished up Altered Carbon the other day, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, really?
What was that? Yeah. I'm sorry?
Altered Carbon.
Oh.
It's a Netflix, I guess, drama series. It's a hard-boiled sci-fi. It's a really great show if you're looking for something to watch. About 10 episodes, so I guess it's 10 hours or so.
Is that the one you were kind of comparing to X-Files a little bit?
No, that's Project Blue Book. So
okay.
I watched the first episode of that. The second one aired last night in Canada, so I have to watch that. But this one's like no, I think it came out. It's been out for a while. I started watching it when it first hit. It would have been months ago, if not a year ago, and just kind of got sidetracked and didn't get to finish it. And then my wife and I started watching it the other day and binged through the rest of it. It gets a little bit kind of convoluted with the story near the end. I think it's based on a series of novels and stuff like that. So you got that kind of trying to jam everything into the show. But it is a 10-hour show, so they probably get a lot of it in there. Yeah, the acting's great, the story's great, the sets and stuff like that. Like it's kind of like Blade Runner, with like a really, I guess Blade Runner is kind of a thriller, kind of a mystery too, but like a really hard-boiled kind of a detective show kind of a thing mashed in. It's a really good show.
Cool.
Yeah,
very cool. Have you guys seen any of the Black Mirror series?
After I heard in the first episode a dude fucks a pig, I just never watched it.
Oh wow.
It's amazing, man. Yeah, I love it. And I haven't seen the newest movie yet, but
Bandersnatch or whatever it's called, something like that. Yeah, I've heard that's really interesting because it's like you pick what he does. You know what I mean? You somehow guide him through the story.
Yeah, I think you have to watch it on like certain devices. I tried to watch it on my TV. I have the app on my TV, but it wouldn't let me because I couldn't select the choices.
Oh, okay.
So you have to watch it on like an iPad or a smart TV or
It's like
you know what I mean? Because you actually have to. They branded it as a choose your own adventure movie, and now they're getting sued by the choose your own adventure business because they literally put right in the ad like choose your own adventure, and they're like, wait a second. Yeah, from what I heard, they like it's a 1.5 hour movie, but they filmed like hours and hours of like you can change things so much. Like you can there's hours and hours of content there. It took them a long time to produce it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very interested to watch that too. I just haven't had a chance to throw that on. But
yeah, I've heard rave reviews about it. So about the series and about Bandersnatch.
It's good. It's really good.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. But Brian, I don't think we've seen you since the holidays, have we, Ryan? Did you have a good holiday?
no, I completely went. I probably did an episode in October, and then I was off for the holidays. Work. We had a couple of deaths in the family. It's just
my god.
Yeah, so it's I haven't been able to make a show, and like it killed me, but I couldn't do the show with Eric Freeman. And yeah, there was a lot of great stuff. You guys were doing a lot of great stuff, but I couldn't join in. But happy to be here today.
Good. Yeah, Eric actually jumped in the chat last week and was, still picking on Orc. So
nice.
I said,
that's proper. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, he fit right in, just giving it to Orc like everybody else. So
maybe he'll be a semi-regular.
I've tried to talk him into it. We'll see. We'll have to see what happens.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Lauren, have you seen anything good since last week?
Nah, I've been working.
You've just been working.
I haven't seen anything bad either, but I haven't seen anything.
Okay. What about you, Stingray?
I haven't seen anything good. I saw Replicas, the new Keanu Reeves film.
Tell us about that. I hear it's awesome.
It's pretty damn terrible. It is pretty terrible. There's lots of theories that it was just a like a money laundering scheme or something. Because
I was gonna say maybe he owed somebody something. Yeah, sure, I'll be in your shitty movie.
It costs like $80 million or something stupid like that to make, and
God.
It's not on the screen at all. Like the CGI is unfinished, and yeah.
Well,
I want to watch his romantic comedy he just did with Winona.
I'm not gonna watch that.
I don't know why. I just have this I don't know why, but I just have to see that because that just doesn't make any sense to me. I can't combine Keanu Reeves anymore with that kind of a film. Like, you know what I mean? Ever since The Matrix, he hasn't done anything that I've seen that's anything in that vein.
So they're reunited after Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, and I think it's like I don't know. It's like they go to some resort and get married or something like that. I don't know the whole story, but it's gonna be. I'm sure it's gonna be awful, but I just have to. I don't know why I have to watch that.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard Replicas was not
terrible.
Good.
It's terrible. Good. The dialogue is some of the worst you'll ever hear.
Well, I did see. I did have the opportunity to check out the new Suspiria.
Here we go.
Which that was an experience.
You still don't know what to say about it.
I'm gonna try to do a review of it. I don't know how that review is gonna turn out because I'll use a word that Lauren used to describe it, and that is impenetrable. It's 2.5 hours of I will say this: if you go into this movie thinking that it's going to be a traditional reboot, remake, reimagining of Argento's Suspiria, you are gonna hate this movie.
So, Piz, without spoiling anything, were you okay with what they did with this Susie Bannion character ultimately?
Oh yeah, I was okay with that. I was fine with that. That didn't really ruffle my feathers because they kind of with that movie. I mean, all bets were off with that. You know what I mean? Like halfway through, I was just like, okay, all bets are off, really. So, Yeah, I really didn't mind it. Actually, I actually kind of dug the fact that there was like the power struggle within the coven. I kind of actually liked that idea. I thought that was an interesting idea. So no, I really didn't mind what they did at the end.
Some of the hardest core fans seem to be really upset about it. That wasn't my problem either, but I just wanted your take. And how do you feel about red filters these days?
About red filters?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot. I actually rewatched Halloween 2018 twice here recently, and I'm going to do a re-review of that movie because my feelings on that movie have.
You were kind of in the middle, I think, when it came out, right? Like,
no, I'm not. I mean,
okay.
I really liked it. I had some issues with it, but I really liked it. But the second time, and particularly the third time around, the issues seemed to really outshine the things that I liked about it. And without giving too much away about my re-review, the Frankenstein-like stitching that's holding the whole thing together really starts to become obvious. You know what I mean? Like it's really pieced together from those reshoots, and it's very, I don't know. Yeah. You really notice.
The Halloween films have a good tradition of that, though, too. I mean, in recent history, it seems like all of them since H2O onward were basically shot twice.
Yeah. Like two movies pieced together in a way.
It definitely seems like a film that benefits from that theatrical experience, with an audience. Like
I was gonna say, like I tried not to with that movie. I actually wasn't super hyped going into it, but being there and watching it there, like I think I kind of wonder if I'll have the same experience. I'll go to rewatch it and all the problems that will actually hit me in the face because I enjoyed it when I saw it, but that happens to me all the time. I get too amped up and
I got to tell you, the third time around, and maybe it was too soon watching it a third time, it did not hold my attention at all. At all. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a weird one. I don't know. But aside from that, I don't know if I've seen anything else.
Did anyone catch the John Wick 3 teaser?
I did not. No, I did not. I've not checked that out yet. Today for me was all about the Mortal Kombat 11 reveal. I was very hyped up for that, and it did not disappoint. I thought it looked really good.
That's the best way to drop a game. Like so basically at the Game Awards, they're like, surprise.
Yeah.
With a really great like kind of teaser or whatever. And then within a couple of months, they're like, here's a bunch of characters. Here's what the game's gonna be like. Like, you know what I mean? Like too often we have these games that get announced like when they're like a year into development and they're still coming out for 3 years, and like that's the way to do it. Yeah.
They've absolutely done it right. And the game comes out in like April, so I mean, you don't have the reveal and then by the way it's coming out in 2021. So that's the way to do it, and it looked really good.
Is it like because I didn't watch the reveal, but I was kind of hoping that they would kind of do a Smash Bros thing where they would have all the characters in it, but is it that or
if you like they only announced like I figured they would announce more characters. They only announced I think like 6. Okay. But if you look at the roster screen, there's room for a bunch more. And the main villain in the film can control time. So
that's what I was going to say, because in the main fight in the teaser, it's Raiden Raiden now, Scorpion or whatever. Raiden kills him, and then like old Scorpion comes in, and I was like, oh cool, maybe they're going to do a thing where you can play as all the old characters, all the new characters, maybe through a few, and you know what I mean. So I'm kind of hoping they go that way. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool too. I think that's why the villain is time. Can control time, because you can play any character, doesn't matter if they're and I mean the very first character they revealed was Baraka, and Baraka died in MKX. So I mean clearly it I mean dead characters in MK doesn't mean anything. They bring back dead characters all the time. So I mean I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good. I'm excited, definitely.
Cool.
I don't think I've seen anything else really. I almost watched the WNUF Halloween special just to compare it to just to compare it to Ghost Watch, but then I was like, nah. I'll just watch some old episodes of The Office instead. So yeah, I was close because I was like, I want to kind of see how they could mess it up. But Braho, if you have you seen Ghost Watch? We talked about Ghost Watch last week. Have you seen
I don't know. I don't do. Not only do I not know what Ghost Watch is, I have no idea what you mean by WNUF.
Okay, don't worry about
Okay.
don't worry about WMUF. Ghost Watch. It's on. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It fooled the entire UK.
Okay.
And it created post-traumatic stress in children who watched it. So
okay,
it's very good, and it's so good.
So where I'll have to find. Okay, I'll find it somewhere.
Yeah, you've got to check it out. It's so good.
I got it on here.
It's either on Amazon Prime or it was either Amazon. Yeah, it's either Amazon Prime or Shudder. Either way, you guys can get Shudder up in Canada, right?
I think I can. I don't know what. It doesn't mean if we get it because we get different selections, but I'll check and see where I can. I'm trying Prime Video right now.
It'd be worth the week free trial. Get the week free trial. And
I was going to say I get the trial. Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah, it's not on Prime Video, so.
Okay, it must have been on Shudder that I watched it then. So good though. So good. Let's see what's. Oh, go ahead.
It's definitely on Shudder. It's definitely on Shudder. I just checked.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see it right here. Yeah, I think I can stream it. So I'll try that out.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Check that out.
Put
So
that
good.
up there so I don't lose it.
So good. Let's see what's going on out in the chat tonight. We've got some people talking about the Ghostbusters teaser. Did anybody see the Ghostbusters 3 teaser?
Yeah.
Very teaser-licious.
Teaser-licious, yes.
I think they've the only thing I've heard so far is that it's a totally new gang, 2 guys, 2 girls. They're either young, they're younger. I don't know if they're teens or if they're university students. So I assume that it's just going to be like the old guys or the mentors kind of a thing.
So is this Ivan Reitman's son?
Jason Reitman, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of assumed that, but wasn't 100% sure.
But I think his got announced even around the same time as. I think when they first announced the remake or whatever, I think they said they were doing both 2 at the same time. But I think after the other one bombed so badly, they kind of backed off. And I'm happy to see they kept going with it. Hopefully, it's good, but we'll see.
Yeah. I hope so too. Let's see who's in the chat tonight with us. Max Punishment, how you doing tonight, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Toffee 20 is in the chat with us tonight. DJ Donley. Let's see. Joe Bob Tarhill, John Avenger. Seth is here. CBN Siegel, Chaz 4543. Hope you guys are all doing well tonight. Grace's Horses is in the chat. We got some people asking about B Movie Mike. B Movie Mike has been sick too. B Movie Mike's been under the weather here lately. So hopefully he'll be, hopefully he'll be back very soon. Josh O'Brien, Joe Caraluzzo, how you guys doing? Hope you all are doing well tonight. Gary Reeves is also with us tonight. How you doing, Gary? Christian Hannah Horror is with us tonight as well. What's up, Christian? Hope you're doing well. Well, let's go ahead and dive into some movies of 1989. If I can find my list here. My list is here. It's ready. It's written out. It's ready to go. Stingray, you batted leadoff for us last week in Mike's absence. Why don't you do the same this week?
All right, I'm going to blow the doors off with Milo and Otis.
Oh, man. Mic drop.
How do you guys feel about that? Do you like when puppies and kittens get killed during the making of?
Who doesn't
films?
love that?
Man, yeah, I'm glad I didn't know that when I was a kid because it's pretty terrible.
Yep.
It's like when they go over the waterfall. Like they actually went over the waterfall and died probably.
Oh, seriously?
We got to shoot that again. Well, yeah, it was Japanese, and I think they just dubbed it
don't care
for English audiences.
Awesome.
Wow, no idea.
Milo and Otis. I haven't heard that title in a long time.
I haven't either.
Yeah, I saw that on a double feature. Like I was like probably 8 or 9 years old, and I was already at the point where my parents would just drop me off at the movie theater. So I saw Milo and Otis, and I thought it was Gremlins too, but that's the wrong year. Anyway. I saw it with another film the same day.
Wonderful.
That was a blast from the past. I didn't expect any Milo and Otis references tonight, but you never know what you're going to get here, you know?
Pet Cemetery,
I
maybe?
puts it on. I have to remind her that, yeah. Oh, nope, they died. Nope, see right there?
Yeah.
Yep, they were killed.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So they really just sent them over a waterfall, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually had a pug growing up, so that's probably why I liked it so much. But,
Well, who doesn't love pugs? I mean, did your pug grunt and groan and go on and
always, yeah.
Love that about pugs. Love the
Yeah, they
grunt and
weren't
groaning.
really popular until maybe 10 years ago or so. It really became popular.
Yeah. Now, if you want a pug, you better be ready to shell out like $5,000. So.
Really? Wow.
No, I know a woman who bought a pug. I forget how much she said she paid for it, but I mean, it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a really good year. I'll take some of the lesser known stuff off of here. How about Roadhouse?
Oh, I love Roadhouse.
You guys like Roadhouse at all?
Love Roadhouse. The only thing better is Roadhouse 2.
I didn't know they made it.
That's an incorrect statement.
They did.
They did. They made
They
a
did.
Roadhouse 2. They did. Yes. They
Oh, they did it. Sam
Who's the
Elliott.
lead?
I think it's Jason Schecht or something like that.
Oh, I see. They waited like 26 years to do it.
That's how you make a sequel.
That's how you do it, especially to Roadhouse.
Exactly, to Roadhouse. You wait 26 years.
Wasn't Roadhouse 2 actually? I think Blockbuster actually had money in it, because there was a period where they were throwing money into projects that they knew they could rent, and they had part of the actual IP. Then I think it fell into that wave.
They probably noticed people were watching like Roadhouse on TV a shit ton, so like, oh well.
Yeah.
Jake Busey plays Wild Bill, so
Jake Busey.
quality production here.
Quality,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know it.
Jake Busey's the master of those, sequels that happened 20 years after the original. Roadhouse 2, The Hitcher 2. You know what I mean? He's carving a niche for himself.
Big time.
There you go. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Roadhouse is awesome. I mean, Patrick Swayze as a bouncer in a bar, just kicking people's asses left and right. You know.
Well, my favorite part about it is that like Sam Elliott's like his mentor. Like,
yeah,
because that's what you need in that job. Like,
what a who. It was the 80s. You know what I mean?
There's really no way to explain that movie except for, I don't know, man. It was the 80s.
It's hard to kick that high with really tight denim jeans on.
Yeah, I'm sure that hurt.
It makes it look easy, though.
And I always assume they were trying to one-up each other with dialogue on the set. Like, you wouldn't say that on screen. Yeah, I will. Watch. There's no way those words were written on a page on a screen. That had to be just a lot of cocaine on the set and one-upsmanship.
You know that the cocaine is flowing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we're gonna make a really serious movie about this guy, and he's a bouncer at a pub, and it's like, but he gets into some shit, and there's people are dying, and it's just that movie.
And Sam Elliott is his Yoda. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. That's the best part, because you need to have a master to teach you how to bounce a club, right?
Oh,
did you guys see the teaser? Not to get off track, but the teaser for the new Sam Elliott movie, the man who shot Hitler and then the Bigfoot?
No.
So the movie's it's Sam Elliott, and I guess during World War II, he supposedly assassinated Hitler, and they bring him back in because he has to kill the Bigfoot, because the Bigfoot's like carrying some kind of disease that's going to kill everyone. I can't even believe it. Explaining it doesn't even do it justice. You have to go watch the teaser.
Sci-fi original?
That sounds amazing.
And it looks awesome. It looks awesome.
That sounds amazing. I've got to look that up. Let's look up Sam
It's
Elliott.
so ridiculous
Bigfoot.
that it's, I don't know.
A man
Picture
who
the
killed
year.
Hitler and then Bigfoot. A fish. I mean, what in the? I can't believe this exists.
I couldn't believe it either.
So
I saw the title. I thought it was a joke, and then like Sam Elliott there, I thought maybe it was some kind of like a joke teaser. I don't know, like something. You know what I mean? Some I don't know SNL thing or something.
Yeah.
No, it's a real thing.
So it's no like relation to. It's just like, oh, he's really good because he killed Hitler. So
They don't really. You don't get enough from the teaser. I don't know why they would go get him. Like, but
he killed Hitler. Come on, he can handle
you do see from the teaser that it looks like he assassinates Hitler, and then for some reason he's running through the woods with a huge rifle hunting Bigfoot. It doesn't make sense how that connects, but I don't care.
I love it. I want to see it. I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
I want to see that movie.
Speaking of crazy 80 movies, I guarantee cocaine just had to be just all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list here, and yeah, absolutely was.
Yeah.
Jeez, oh Pete, man. Good God.
Yep.
That sounds like a good one, though.
You don't get Earth Girls Are Easy by being sober.
No.
Nope.
No.
You do not.
Give us another deep track, Stingray.
Okay. How about the War of the Roses? You guys seen that one?
I did not see that one. War of the Roses.
I don't know if I've seen it. I've certainly heard of it.
It's,
what's it about? Give me
Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas. One of their, I think they worked together quite a bit around that time. Directed by Danny DeVito. Well, no, they're husband and wife, and they hate each other's guts, and they're trying to kill each other.
Oh, okay.
It's actually it's really
directed by Danny DeVito. Okay, cool,
yeah.
Cool.
It's really funny.
I'll have to check that one out. Give us a horror flick from '89.
Oh man, so many to choose from. How about Shocker?
That's
Wes Craven's Shocker.
Yep. I love Shocker. I loved Shocker as a kid. I still love Shocker now.
I do too.
I love that movie. I know it's a lot like Nightmare on Elm Street, and a lot of people dislike it, but I love it. I love that movie.
I think it's a lot less serious than Nightmare on Elm Street. It's got a Megadeth on the soundtrack, for God's sake. Come on.
Yes.
Doing an Alice Cooper song.
Yeah. Yes. I just
That's
remember
one of those ones that I would like to rewatch. It's been so long.
Oh yeah. Now, Stingray, do you have the Scream Factory Blu-ray of that?
I have a Blu-ray. I don't think it's a Scream Factory Blu-ray though.
I can't remember if Peter Berg is in any way involved in that Blu-ray or not.
Yeah, it's so strange to see him acting, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he had anything to do with it, but it would be cool to hear him talk about that movie. You know what I mean? But yeah, I loved that movie as a kid.
Yeah. Skinner is chasing me around the whole time, trying to kill me with electricity.
Mm-hmm.
Skinner from the X-Files, right? I'm sure you remember.
Yes, yeah, Mr. Pileggi.
Yeah.
I don't know how he went from Shocker to X-Files, but I'm okay with it.
I always remember him being so roided up, but he's big, but he's not that big.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Ted Raimi is isn't Ted Raimi in there?
I would assume that Ted Raimi could be in any of those kind of movies.
I'm not sure.
I forget Ted Raimi's in everything before he shows up. Candyman surprises me every damn time, and that shouldn't.
Yep.
Yeah,
he is in there.
Yeah.
So is Heather Langenkamp, apparently.
Oh, really?
Shocker.
That's kind of cool.
I don't remember
Shocker's
her.
one of those films that when I saw it, I liked it a lot, and then I didn't see it for about 5 years, and I looked back and said, "This isn't the movie I remember at all." When I saw it, I remembered it being scary in the beginning and then just silly as hell in the end, and being very choppy. But it's not really. It actually holds together better than it wants to be. It just suffers from that late 80s post Freddy jokiness. That it's a time period in the genre.
Yeah.
I mean the killer is so brutal. I mean, he murders every one of what was his name? The Peter Berg's kills his girlfriend, his dad.
Kills his whole freaking family.
Yeah.
You know? I actually heard that like they had huge plans for that movie. Like they thought that was going to be like the next, Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever. And like they had like Shocker toys and Shocker, all sorts of Shocker merch that just, just set in a warehouse forever. You know what I mean?
Then there's a Nightmare on Elm Street in '89, right?
Yes.
5.
They probably should have maybe spaced that out a little bit better.
But
I think at that point there was a nightmare every year, right?
Pretty much.
There was a very early rumor that Cunningham and Craven had both developed House 3 and Shocker close together with the idea of eventually having a versus movie. That concept was already in the air back then. Of course, neither film did well enough for it to ever actually happen. But that's why they are so similar in concept.
That would be cool.
That crossover would be very easy. And of course, they were friends from way back. But again, both films failed pretty much. The genre fans showed up, but no one else did.
Yeah.
So you said House 3, like the horror show?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Did that come out in '88 or '89?
The year before.
The year before, okay, '88. Yeah.
But they were definitely in communication with each other while they were making both films. So, I mean, that's where there's some credence to it. But it's just a rumor. It's never really come out.
That's interesting. It's been so long since I've seen like House 3 and 4. I can't even remember a thing about them really. I know House 3 was, like it's supposed to be its own thing that turned into House 3. Yeah. But it's been forever since I've seen those.
I think the horror show's solid. The horror show's solid. I think Lance Hendrickson has a great performance. It's one of the great Lance Hendrickson performances of that time period. So
cool. It's been a long time. So there's so many of these movies in this year that I've watched, but it's been forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely.
Surely, people think Shocker is better than The Dream Child.
Yeah.
Got to. Yeah.
Because that came out same year, right? Part 5.
Yeah.
I think as I was going to say, I think it was Halloween 5 and Nightmare 5 in '89.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Raho, what do you got for us, man?
Leviathan. Actually, I think this year was the year of like underwater sci-fi flicks, because I think it had Leviathan. Did it have The Abyss?
It did.
And Deep Star 6?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Cunningham, so it was like for some reason everyone got together and like, shit, man, I got this great idea for a movie. We're gonna go underwater and there's gonna be an underwater monster. It's gonna be awesome. And then like they woke up and they're like, shit, we got 3 of these movies in production. What do we do?
No one knows any of them except for The Abyss. Like, they all got swept under the rug.
Pretty much.
I like the Leviathan because it has Peter Weller, and anything that he's in, it's just instantly awesome.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Never forget.
You're my boy, Peter. But I guess I go back to The Abyss too is probably the better film, but I do love.
I don't think so.
For different reasons. Yeah, you don't think so? I don't know.
The Abyss is boring as hell.
Yeah.
And it's
I agree.
No, I don't find it boring. Actually, I like
it's boring and it's sappy and it's cliche all over the place. I mean, the whole wedding ring subplot is awful.
I totally agree with you, man.
In fact, I'll go a step further. I like Leviathan, but I love Deep Star 6. It is good, pulpy fun, and I can sit down and that movie feels like it's 20 minutes long because it just moves. Miguel Ferrer is awesome in it. It's not a great film by any means, but I as comfort food, I'll take Deep Star 6 any day.
I remember Deep Star 6 being the first one that I watched because of that cover. And I know they all had great kind of iconic posters and covers, but it was like a deep water guy or whatever, and he's all like shredded and stuff like that. Like such a cool cover on the tape and stuff like that. But I think Leviathan's probably my favorite of the 3. But
the only one I remember is The Abyss. I've seen all 3. I need to revisit Leviathan and Deep Star 6. The only one I remember is The Abyss. I think I've only seen it like once. So, but I'm
hoping someday we can get a Deep Star 6 release in America with the proper ratio aspect. This is the film that's been dogged by widescreen that are wrong and full screen releases. The Japanese Laserdisc is the only thing that's right to date, and that's over 20 years old.
Jeez.
I think I've only seen it in full screen presentation.
Well, the widescreen does exist, but it's just rare. You can find bootlegs of it out there, or you can. I think actually there's one on YouTube, unlisted, but you can stumble across it.
Oh, cool.
Cool. Look into that. What else you got, Raho?
Let's take a quick spin through here. So much good stuff. I'm seeing 2 Jean-Claude movies. We've got Kickboxer and Cyborg.
Well, there you go. Kickboxer.
There you go. Kickboxer and Cyborg.
I mean,
Cyborg's another one of those ones that I think that had a Blu-ray release recently, didn't it?
Yeah. Scream Factory.
That was one of the ones I wanted to get because that one I have not watched, and I can't even remember the movie. That I really want to check that one out again. Kickboxer was one I used to watch all the time. So.
Oh man, Kickboxer was like, I know everyone says Bloodsport, but Kickboxer was my introduction to Van Damme. Like, I love that movie still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just see Bolo Young like kicking that cinder block or the.
We
pillar.
used to. This was the one that we watched a lot too. Like, again, you're right, Bloodsport, but we always talk about how tough he was, like kicking that block or whatever. And like we were like, he really did that and shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? No, I heard he really did that, man. He's crazy. And just love that movie.
Yeah, I think Kickboxer was one. It was on TV a lot, but not nearly as much as Bloodsport and Cyborg. Bloodsport and Cyborg were on TV like every weekend, it seemed like. I don't know. Kickboxer was just kind of overlooked, it seemed, until recently when the meme of the dance scene really kind of hit, and everybody's digging that Kickboxer dance scene.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and Cyborg, the Blu-ray is really good. Unfortunately, no Jean-Claude Van Damme on it. It's odd because he's not on the Cyborg Blu-ray, but he is on the Lionheart Blu-ray.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, he gives a good interview on the Lionheart Blu-ray, but I thought it was odd. Like I don't,
probably didn't put enough money in his pocket.
Probably, yeah. But well, Rahul, hold on. We'll if there's anything else on your list, we'll come back around to you here momentarily.
Jean-Claude's doing like Doritos commercials or something now.
Well, that makes sense.
I mean, hey, he's getting paid pretty well, I'm sure.
Did any of you guys see the series that he was on for a short time on Amazon?
I saw the pilot when it was released. I haven't seen any other episodes. So.
Oh, it was so fun. It was so fun. Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was kind of like the JCVD movie, but in a series. You know what I mean? It was really fun. And Christian Hanna's joined us. What's up, man? How you doing tonight, sir?
What's up, Piz? You calling into backups tonight, huh?
What's that?
You're calling into backups tonight.
Well, I saw you in the chat, man. I was like, hey, let's get him on.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. It's always fun to hop on these. Oh, Warren and Stingray.
Yeah. Well, how you been, man?
I'm good, dude. Just working my butt off, man. Other than that, not much. Blew all my money on a Freddy bust from Devil's Latex last night. So.
Which one did you get?
Hang on, I'll grab him. It's Freddy's Revenge, kind of. But see if I can get him in there.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, he's cool. He doesn't have red eyes like in the movie, but what the hell are you gonna do about it? So
that's pretty cool. I mean, Devil's Latex, they do good work, man. They do good work.
Yeah, I love that. I'm really cheap, really, really cheap. He did one of those Insta story things where he was like, "Hey, getting rid of this, getting rid of this." I got it for 170, man. So I was like, "Hell yeah!"
Yeah, that's not bad for that.
Yeah, it's a silicone, foam filled, all that good stuff. It's beautiful, man. It looks really good. So I love it.
Yeah. I've actually got a couple of things on the way from them that I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on. So
and it's addicting, man.
Yeah, they do excellent work, man. But they're it's like a 1-man, 2-man job up there. So I mean,
yeah,
But yeah, I do dig the Devil's Latex for sure.
Yeah, I know you got some good pieces from them.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, Christian, we're talking about movies of 1989. I'll go ahead and I'll give you a couple of minutes to kind of prepare, and
Sure.
I'll go ahead and throw some of my favorite movies out there from '89. I'll just go ahead and throw out there Batman, because I think that was like, would you guys agree that that was probably the movie of 1989, the event movie of 1989?
Yeah, and 90 because it stayed in the theater so long.
That one, when I think of my youth, there are two movies that really stick out as like event movies. Like you had to watch these movies. And they were everywhere. You could not escape these movies. They were everybody was talking about them. There was merchandise everywhere. There were brand deals everywhere. One is Batman and the other is Terminator 2. And Batman was everywhere. Everybody was wearing the Batman shirts. You know what I mean? Your fry container at McDonald's had the bat signal on it. The Batman TV series came back. They were showing the old Batman episodes with Burt Ward and from back in the day. They were showing those on TV again. Batman was everywhere. You could not escape it. And it turned out it was it was a great flick. I know some people have issue with how the film tackled the Joker and the creation of the Joker and all that jazz, and that Jack Nicholson kind of hammed it up too much. But as a kid, I mean, my God, that was a blistering performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Batman from '89, Lauren?
I've never actually seen the whole film.
Really?
Yeah. So Burton is a weird thing with me. If Burton works like Beetlejuice, I'm completely down. But I get very annoyed very easily. And obviously, it's easier to see in his more recent films, when he loses the audience. But he was losing me really pretty early. And Batman was one of those things that I didn't really have a connection with. As big as it was, and it was everywhere, like you're saying, it never drove me to the theater. So by the time I saw it, I was at a friend's house. It was on. I know I watched at least some of it, but I don't think I've sat down and watched the film from beginning to end at all. So I really don't have much feelings. I've seen all the sequels to the current day, but it's the one piece I've missed out on, I guess. But I've heard very different things. I have people that now kind of hate it, and there's people who really love it still. I'm not a big enough comic book guy, probably, for it to matter. I don't know.
I agree with you about Tim Burton. Have you seen Tim Burton's Dark Shadows?
Not all of it. Again, I saw a bit of it, and it was more than enough. Dark Shadows is one of those things I do love because it was something that was always on the UHF stations when I was growing up. They were the original Curtis. Never saw it in order because they didn't broadcast it in repeats on order. So you never really knew what the hell was going on with the original soap opera. But just the idea that if you really love something, I don't think you do what he was doing to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed disrespectful all around to me.
Well, yeah,
and I'm allergic to Johnny Depp, so.
Well, I did not like the Dark. So I can understand what you're saying with, Tim Burton can be a mixed bag. He's done a lot of really good stuff, but when he kind of goes off the rails, he goes way off the rails. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he I don't know. I think the Tim Burton Johnny Depp connection, is kind of, that's a bit tired. So.
And now he's doing just Disney projects now, just because I think that he's just chasing the money now.
Yeah.
Which is his prerogative. I'm nothing against that. If I could make that kind of money, I would too. But I guess everyone who was considering the hard true artist of the late '80s, early '90s, it's kind of a little harder to see that now.
Yeah.
No,
well, he's out as Jack Sparrow, right? They're doing something else with that property.
They're doing something else with that. Yep. Yep. New Jack Sparrow and a reboot of Pirates of the Caribbean.
I mean, I don't like those movies, so I don't.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm not a big fan of those movies either, to be honest. But I mean, they make a ton of money, so somebody's watching them.
What's the last good thing Johnny Depp did? Like, God, I can't even. I mean,
that's a good. Well,
Traffic.
was it okay? I forgot he was in Traffic.
What was the movie where he played Dillinger? I liked that movie. Public Enemies. Yeah. I like that movie.
See, I can't go anything near anything he's in. I just can't do it.
Not even Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
I saw it in theaters. I haven't revisited it. I liked it at the time, but I also thought he was the least good thing about it, which is bad for a film that's centered around a real life historical figure. But
I love that movie. But no, I know what you're talking about. Let's see. Let's move on. Batman. I'm gonna throw out there some horror flicks. Well, let me throw out there Uncle Buck, because I mean I love Uncle Buck. That was as a kid, John Candy was a god, because I was a big kid. John Candy was a big kid, you know what I mean? And I remember telling my mom at one point, I want to grow up and be just like John Candy. And but yeah, Uncle Buck, just such a fun movie. And John Candy, R.I.P. I always wanted to go bowling with John Candy. And if you guys ever tried the toothpick trick that one guy does, where he tries to spin it around in his mouth.
Yes.
Oof. When that goes wrong, that goes way wrong. When that goes wrong, that goes way wrong. But yeah,
the first appearance of Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin. Yep.
So, or I don't know. This may have been one of the early appearances.
It was. If it wasn't the first, it was very early.
Was the what was that other? Damn it! Where the guy? I'm going to spoil it. Never mind. I'll say it.
Oh, you mean Jacob's Ladder?
Yeah.
Jacob's Ladder, I think, was his first.
Okay.
I think that was the first. I could be wrong. It's either this or it's one or the other. But I actually think it was Jacob's Ladder was the first. Let me throw some obscure horror out there from '89. Has anybody seen the little film Intruder, directed by Scott Spiegel? We talked about Ted Raimi earlier.
I love it.
Great flick, super over the top. Great flick, lots of great kills.
Bandsaw.
Yes. Very, very good movie. Very fun movie. Has anybody seen Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat with Bruce Campbell?
Yes.
Really like that movie. Really fun movie. Never hear anybody talking about that one.
Very underrated.
Yeah, very, very underrated. Let's see. This one just recently got a Blu-ray release. I love it because it's so bad it's good, and that's Cutting Class with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's big screen debut with Jill Schoelen and Roddy McDowall. Just a crazy, crazy movie. Crazy movie.
I need to watch it again, man, because I didn't care for it when I saw it years ago.
I think it was written as a spoof because the guy who wrote it was the creator of Salute Your Shorts. I think he wrote it as a straight up spoof. The guy who directed it was he like worked with Frankenheimer. He was like Frankenheimer's writer. He wrote Deliverance and big huge movies, but he wanted to be a director, so he got this script and he took it at face value and tried to make a straight slasher movie out of it, and that's the result. And it's just totally wacky. But Brad Pitt has come a long way since those days. A long way.
Well, maybe if Donkey Lips was in it, I'd like it a little bit better.
If Donkey Lips had been in there, oh my God, my head would have exploded. There's a whole subplot in the movie where Jill Schoelen's dad, played by Richard Mole, at the beginning of the film, he leaves to go hunting. The killer shoots him with an arrow while he's in the woods hunting. He spends the rest of the movie stumbling and bumbling around trying to get home. Like it's like an entire subplot on its own. Just this guy's journey home through the woods, bleeding, and it's It's crazy. It's crazy, but I love it.
It's like they had too much coverage of it, and they just used it all to pad out the running time.
Pretty much, yeah. I think the director just liked Richard Mole, probably.
Well, it was a name at the time.
Yeah. I think they said that he was on like the #1 show in America at the time. So I mean, yeah. So there you go. One more, and this movie's still not on even a DVD released in the US, and that is Psycho Cop, my all-time favorite, so bad it's good movie. God, I love this movie. I mean, you talk about a movie that looks like it was shot during a weekend, no script, just completely improvised, and you've got Bob Vance from The Office stomping around, throwing out these awesome one-liners while he's killing these kids with, his billy club and, stun gunning them. And just, it's so funny. Great stuff.
You talking about Bob Vance from Vance Refrigeration?
I'm talking about Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration. Yes.
Yeah, man, I finally watched it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I can't find the second one to watch, but I watched the first one. It was awesome.
The second one actually got a really nice Blu-ray release from Vinegar Syndrome last year.
Cool.
And really nice Blu-ray release from Vinegar Syndrome. Now it's a straight comedy. Now I think the Psycho Cop, they tried to play it like a straight, Nightmare on Elm Street style slasher movie. But now the sequel, they played it straight up as just a sleazy, fun, comedic slasher movie. But yeah. I'll throw one more out there. This is another deep track. This is one that's not got a DVD release in the US either, and that's Phantom of the Mall. Have any of you guys seen Phantom? Eric's Revenge. Have any of you guys seen?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really wanted to sit down and rewatch that tonight before coming on the show, but I was running late. But I remember that being like a really fun movie, and still no DVD release for that. Nothing for that movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it. I know the title, but I don't believe I've seen it.
Yeah, it was written by one of the guys who wrote the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, and I don't know. It's just I'm guessing it's probably issues with the soundtrack, like so many of these movies from the '80s, and it's just stuck on VHS.
Visit those racks at the conventions with the bootleg guys that have DVDs. They have it.
Yeah.
That's gonna be your only resource for it right now.
Yeah, it's it's probably on YouTube, I'm sure too. So it's easy to find, but it's unfortunate that it's not made that jump. So, which I always, with these movies that have these issues with the music, my question is just get the movie, remove that piece of music, put in some other music, and go. You know what I mean?
That's what they did with Return of the Living Dead Part 2 for years.
Yeah.
Julian Cope there was actually a contract for Julian Cope's song Space Opera, which is just very prominently in the film, and it didn't cover digital releases of any sort. It was strictly for analog releases. So guess what? They eventually just gave up and replaced the track. So it can be done, what Piz is saying, and I agree it's not perfect. You don't want it to be like a WKRP in Cincinnati problem, whereas they've replaced all the music that was originally in the show with sound-alike music to the point where it's really obvious and baffling why we're listening to sound-alike music with nothing else going on screen. But if it's going to save a movie and get it out there, I think they need to do what they need to do.
Yeah. I mean, they can do.
Huge Julian Cope fan right here.
Hey, Teardrop Explodes is underrated as hell. People need to discover.
He's awesome, dude. I wish he would get a band back together and drop that acoustic shit, though. I'm sick of that.
Well, Jehovah Kill did so well for him, man.
I know, but it's boring to me. I like rock and roll. I love St. Julian, man. I love St. Julian. That whole album kick ass.
Sorry, we're no one else has any idea what we're talking about, so we need to move on.
But yeah, I mean, like, movies like Rad that are stuck in this limbo because of music, take the Give Me an Angel song out of there, or have some death metal band do a cover of it and put that in there. Wouldn't that be funny? The the BMX bike off dance, you know, with like Pavement's version of "Send Me an Angel." I mean, wouldn't that be awesome? You know what I mean?
I didn't realize music was the problem with Rad.
Yeah,
man.
I'm pretty sure that music is the problem with Rad. But
I've got Rad on VHS. So I'm good.
yeah, well, and you know, and Rad, there's a digital. There's a high def version of Rad that's out there. It plays on like movie channels every now and again, but it for some reason it can't come out on, you know, DVD or Blu-ray. But anyway.
So interestingly, Piz, I just pulled up to see who what the production company for Phantom of the Mall was, and it was Fry's Entertainment, which actually had a distribution deal through Paramount. They made the Flowers in the Attic. They made Thrashing. So they made Night Angel from 1990. So they had some money behind them at one point. I'm kind of surprised it still is in limbo.
Yeah. Well, you know, we talked to, and Paramount may own it. The problem is with like these companies that have like absorbed other companies, you know, like Lionsgate absorbed the Vestron catalog. When we had Michael Felsher on the show a couple of years ago, he said that part of the problem is when you track down a title and you find that, oh, well, you know, a Lionsgate owns it. The problem is actually getting someone in that company to even put the paperwork together to do anything with it. They just don't want to deal with it. You know what I mean? Unless it's a big property. They don't know that they own. Well, they don't know that they own the movie. Nobody wants to put the time into actually looking. And if you do the work for them, you know, they don't want to put the paperwork together for it to even, you know, do anything with it. So, I mean, he said it's really frustrating when you deal with a company like that that's absorbed catalogs from, you know.
And admittedly, in the past, with the cost of physical media production, a title like Phantom of the Mall maybe couldn't recoup its investment. But now with streaming being the primary release format, I mean, I can't believe that just simply getting a transfer together, it doesn't have to be even a high def transfer for the streaming services. It has to be profitable. It would have to be profitable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you would think. I just, it just seems like some of the, you know, the companies or whatever, they just don't want to put the manpower into it. So I don't know. It's unfortunate. But Christian, what have you got on your list for 1989?
I'm a giant, obviously, Puppet Master. I like Puppet Master, the first one, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I like Shocker. I much prefer to just listen to the soundtrack than watch a movie. It's kind of long, but it's good, you know. Pet Cemetery and Clown House. My wife loves Clown House. She doesn't love Victor Salva, but she loves Clown House. The Clown House is actually a pretty creepy ass movie, man. I got a bootleg DVD. I'm sure it's available. I don't know if it's being printed anymore. You could probably tell me that, but I've got a bootleg. I think she made for me back in like 2010 touring. So the Clown House is a pretty creepy movie. It says 89 Piz. Now I could be wrong. Google's not obviously right on everything because I thought Bride or Reanimator was 90, but it says 89 on Google. So I don't know.
Well, it's weird because like what IMDb will do is like if a movie premiered at the you know, Kazakhstan Film Festival on December 28th, 1989, but it didn't, you know what I mean, it didn't premiere anywhere else in the world until 90, they'll give it the date of 89.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I haven't seen a movie called Society, although I've been dying to see it. I just can't get my hands on it.
It's a good one.
Oh, you got to see it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Arrow did a really nice Blu-ray release for that a couple of years ago.
It's not UK. I could have sworn it was UK. I guess not.
Oh, it might be UK only.
No,
yeah,
no, it's not.
Is it okay? Okay.
It's just flown under my radar, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not a film to watch with the in-laws, though.
No.
I wouldn't, boy.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
I don't know, Piz. 89 doesn't seem like the best year to me. I'm trying. I really am. Obviously, I love Puppet Master. I'm not going to cheap out and be like, oh, Jason Takes Manhattan, but I don't know. It's got some good stuff for me, but I'm really picky, dude. Like, a lot of these really low B-grade movies, I just don't go out of my way to see it. Like The Burbs, of course. I'd love to talk about The Burbs, What else? Ghostbusters 2, I love that. Stuff like that. Parents, okay, I watched Parents. I don't know, man. That was a rough watch. That was crazy. That Quad guy's crazy though altogether. So
Yeah, that's one that that one got a Vestron Blu-ray release not long ago.
yeah, I bought that. I don't know
Oh,
why
did you?
I bought it.
I don't remember very much about that movie, but I kind of wanted to grab that Blu-ray. But I just haven't pulled the trigger yet.
Real quick, because Lauren was talking about distribution stuff. I've got my Puppet Master Laserdisc. Maybe he could explain it. It's obviously a full moon movie, but it's got a Paramount. It's got a Paramount thing on it. Does that mean? What does that mean?
So there was Full Moon had a distribution deal with Paramount for all new productions, I believe, starting in '87. So Paramount didn't have anything they'd produced before that to distribute, which is why there's some titles that were still being distributed through Corman's old network. But anything after, I think it's '87, Paramount had a distribution agreement with, and that lasted right through the early 2000s. Even though, yeah, I actually used to have, I don't have it anymore. I lost it in a move, but Paramount/Full Moon actually had a calendar that they sent out promotionally, which was cool because it had Jason Takes Manhattan on one page, and then you'd go and Robot Jocks would be on the next month.
Sweet.
Yeah, so Paramount actually put some money into that distribution, though, because the direct-to-video market was really exploding, and they didn't have a in-house production for that. So that's what they were using Full Moon for, was to kind of fill that void. Unfortunately, it also got them out of the business of being interested in producing their own things, which is another reason that long absence in Friday the 13th production actually happened.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was some of Full Moon's best years when they had Paramount backing them and distributing their stuff.
Oh yeah, hundreds of thousands of copies of those movies would go out to the video stores. Mm-hmm. They had a built-in profit margin on what those films cost. It was a great time for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, that makes a lot of sense.
But then as soon as that Paramount deal ran out, I mean, they took a steep decline in quality, in everything. Full Moon just went straight to hell after that.
What year was that?
I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I mean, it was pretty obvious.
Probably like 2002 or 2003.
Oh, okay. Was that okay.
As soon as they start producing like pot humor films, because they were looking for, they're looking for that built-in audience that they know will show up, and even that's not a certainty anymore. But they're kind of going through a renaissance right now, simply because people grew up watching those films are now getting a hold of rights. So I wish them the best. I think Charles Band did a good thing for the horror genre for a long time. Believe it or not, no one likes to admit this, but they might have been assembly line films, but they raised the bar on direct-to-video features quality. Mm-hmm. They were always watchable movies, and that wasn't always true in the late '90s, especially. Some of those direct-to-video titles were, man, you watch them for 10 minutes, you turn them on, off, and you didn't miss anything.
Yeah. Yeah. There was some talented people that came up through the Full Moon, kind of like the generation before. Yeah, kind of like the generation before with the Corman Factory. There were some pretty talented filmmakers came up through doing Full Moon stuff, like David Goyer. He wrote some Full Moon flicks. My mind's blanking here, but other people as well. So I mean, it was
and a ton of actors.
Tons of actors. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, Charlie Band.
Yeah, Charlie Band.
Dude, you see him at those conventions. He's not behind no table. He's walking around. Every time I see him at Texas Frightmare, it's like he's just walking around with people. He's just like an everyday dude.
Are you going to be at Texas Frightmare this year?
Oh yeah, I'm a go. They got some good guys. I'm like the guy. I don't ever get in the big lines, Piz, because I go for a day, man. I ain't got time to stand in line for Kane Hodder. You know? I'll go to the $10 T-shirts. London 1888, because that's the only way you can get stuff from them. If you order it, it never shows up. They got some of the guys from Nightmare 4 and 5. I think the Dan guy is going to be there. He's on my bucket list because I like meeting the working class guys, you know, because they're cheaper and they're down to earth. Yeah, they're cool. Robert Russler was an awesome guy, you know.
Oh,
so
yeah.
People like that, you know.
Yeah. Eric Freeman's going to be there with Robert Brian Wilson.
That's
So
sweet.
yeah, you should definitely stop by and say hello to them because they're both really cool.
Yeah.
You tell Eric that you're on the show frequently. He'll enjoy that.
But yeah, I saw that episode. I enjoyed it. I would watch the whole thing. I didn't chat at all because I really just sat there and I watched it. I had a good time watching that. It was a good episode.
Yeah. It's
I
fun.
tell you what, Piz, just real quick, I want to say, dude, those Jason lines, they're getting shorter and shorter. They've been out so much, Piz. Everybody's got their autographs. Like last year, dude, I walked up to 3 of the Jasons. CJ, you know, God rest his soul, the one that just passed away.
Steve Dash.
God rest his soul. Good guy. He didn't have nobody in line. And Kane, like, he still had a big line, but, you know, and Ted White, the greatest Jason ever, had no line. I was so pissed off about that. I was like, you guys don't understand. This guy's a legend. He's the best Jason ever. And I had such a gentleman.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, every Jason that I've met, I mean, you know, they're all super nice. I mean, even after Kane Hodder chokes you out, I mean, he at least, you know, he'll wake you up, you know.
It's crazy because I haven't met him yet. I don't have the desire to go. I don't have a desire to go meet him. I love him. I think he's awesome. But you know, when it's me and Sydney, obviously my wife is bigger Friday the 13th fan than me. And when we went, she saw the roster last year, and I was like, which one you want to go see? Because we were expecting to go to one, you know, because they're all gonna have lines. And she says, Christian, I am going to see Steve Dash. I don't care what you do. I was like, okay, we're going to not Steve Dash. Ted White. She goes, I'm going to see Ted. I don't care what you do, but I'm going to see Ted. I said, let's go see Ted. And we did, and we ended up getting all 3 of them. CJ Graham, who he could still whip everybody's ass. I'll give CJ Graham that. He's in shape. And Kane can still whip everybody's ass. But I think if the 2 of them fought, CJ would probably still beat him. I think
CJ's about he looks like he's about 6'6" or somewhere in that neighborhood. And I mean, he was a Marine, so I mean, he probably could kill you with one hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
But it's kind of sad when I see that. But, you know, they've been out and about so much. It's 28-19 now. So, you know, most everybody's got their autograph and met them.
And there's a generational thing going on. It's just like when I started going to the conventions, the Hammer guys were still there and they were being ignored.
Oh, wow.
You know? Yeah, exactly. And the Night of the Living Dead guys were all still with us. And their tables, you could walk up to and talk to the rap with those guys at any point because everyone was going after the slasher guys. Now the slasher guys are exactly in the Hammer guys category or starting to get there. And the conventions are being filled with Stranger Things and whatever else is going on, whether it's Twilight a few years ago or the reality is the fan base is changing, and the promoters are going to go with who's showing up and buying tickets. I mean, it's just a business.
Yeah, and you know, here's the thing too. Those guys aren't getting any younger. Go and, you know, if you want to meet those guys, go meet them. You know what I mean? Because they're not getting any younger. And I mean, you know, I've walked past celebrities that I was like, oh, you know, I'll get him some other time, you know, and then, you know, a year later they die, and then I'm like, well, damn. So yeah, I mean, you know, and those guys should be. You know, I mean, Ted White was a badass Jason. CJ Graham was a badass Jason, you know. So
because my biggest near miss was Lucio Fulci. He went into New York. It was February. It was Fangoria's Weekend of Horrors, and there was a snowstorm. And I was going, and the snow was out there. I just decided not to. I literally was already on the road, and I turned around, and by March, Fulci was gone.
Oh,
yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, that is crazy.
Yeah, same Romero, man.
I think
Romero.
Stingray.
Yes.
I thought maybe you'd nodded off. I thought you'd nodded off.
I'm listening.
Okay, I thought maybe you'd nodded off. Oh man, Fulci, that would have been cool. I got lucky with Romero because I was gonna go one year. He was at a scare fest in Lexington, just like an hour and a half away from me. And for some reason I didn't go. And I was like, man, I'll probably never get to meet him again. And they booked him again a few years later. I was there, met him, and then like 2 years later he passed away. So I'm so glad I got that opportunity, that second chance to meet him. But I mean, gosh, I mean, I would have loved to have met Betsy Palmer. Would have loved to have met her. Would have loved to. Did you? I would have loved to have met Toby Hooper. Wes Craven, of course.
Be right back.
Okay.
Always, I know Argento is on my bucket list, and Clive Barker. Those guys coming over here and doing conventions is few and far between.
Clive Barker's going to be at I think maybe one in Jersey or New York pretty soon.
Really?
Yeah. Argento doesn't do many. And I would bet for Argento to come over here and do one, he's probably got a pretty big guarantee. So I mean, you've probably got to be shelling out a lot of money for him.
Yeah, I know it's happened before, but
yeah,
these guys get older and they don't want to travel, and I don't blame them.
I don't blame them. Yeah, I don't blame them. Yeah.
Hey, Piz, you think Warrington Gillette's going to start showing his face around now?
It wouldn't surprise.
Seriously.
Say something, Lauren.
Something.
Betsy.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
She's on my part 1 poster, and I have this photo up in my living room, and consistently people ask me, is that if it's a photo of me with my grandmother? And I answer, yes.
I would have.
It was amazing. She was one of the best guests ever. But she was brutally honest about her feelings then, and brutally honest about them now. And it was awesome to see someone who late in life discovered that the horror community loved her, and she loved the horror community. And that it was just, but the honesty, and she would take time with everyone, and she always had lines. She never hit that skid where she didn't have lines. So, yeah, she's one of the best guests I've ever met.
So cool. I'd love to have met her, man. Oh gosh. Now, what you were saying about Warrington Gillette coming back around the shows.
Hey, man, think about it, because, dude, now I think it's so much time's gone by. Some people might just be like, you know what, to hell with it. I want to meet Warrington. He did that cool scene through the window. I'm serious. I think he might show up. It may not be immediately, but
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Would you go see him?
No, I don't know. Probably.
You'd be like, what the hell? I'm here.
I could have seen him one year. I actually had a weird moment with him in the men's room one year at a convention. But no, I didn't go to his table or anything.
You mind me asking what year that was? Because I thought, did he eventually just kind of started?
It was 2010 or 2011. I don't remember, one of those years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
So is a while ago. Yeah. But I mean, this was before Steve Dash was doing conventions. So, I mean, he was there signing, photos of Steve Dash in the tater sack. He was posing, with people with the fake machete, putting it up to their throats. You know what I mean? And, he was part 2 Jason.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be damned. I think enough time's gone by, though. If he shows up, people would actually go see him.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know what? Now that Steve's gone, he doesn't have to worry about Steve showing up too and whooping his ass. So I mean, he may be out there on the scene again. I don't know. We'll see. Were there any movies from '89 on your listing, Ray, that nobody discussed?
Oh sure. One that I like a lot is Parenthood. That you really don't ever hear anyone talk about.
Okay.
Let's see. Steve Martin, Diane Wiest, Rick Moranis, and it's directed by Ron Howard. It's got a young Joaquin Phoenix in there. This may be, or no, Leaf Phoenix at that time. This may be his first acting role. And that was just one I always liked. It's a comedy, but it gets really serious at times. And I think I may have seen this in the theater, so that's probably why I like it so much. Nostalgia love.
Okay. Cool.
But Keanu Reeves is in there too.
Ah. Okay. Cool.
Same year as Bill and Ted. So I'm not the biggest Bill and Ted fan, but I like it for what it is.
Let me. This is a. I may have mentioned this on the show in the past, but I've seen Bill and Ted so many times because for some reason in school they allowed us to watch Bill and Ted as like some sort of
History lesson.
like a history lesson. No, I'm serious. They would let us watch Bill and Ted as like some sort of history lesson. So.
When I was in high school, my Greek teacher, or Greek 2 teacher, was like, she knew that she was going to get fired at the end of the year. So she, like, halfway through the year, she gave up, and like we just brought a movie and like we watched Dumb and Dumber like every other day. It was pretty awesome.
Wow, cool.
It was like, cool. We get this is what we do.
Well, and we always loved when we got a substitute, you know what I mean? Because that was just complete pandemonium. And the substitutes would bring in their own movie sometimes. Like there was like the substitute pool is like they got together and they were like, well, just bring in a movie. You know what I mean? PG-13, nothing higher than PG-13. Like I remember we watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer one day with a substitute. I remember watching Bill and Ted several times with substitutes. One of the vacation movies, maybe 2 of the vacation movies. I know the Christmas Vacation, and I seem to remember the one with John Candy where what's his name shoots him with the BB gun.
The first one.
Yeah. So that was like the substitutes idea. Like let's just get through the day, get our $70, put a movie on.
But it was going to be good when you saw them wheel that gigantic monstrosity in, like, on that big metal frame, the television, and then the VCR down below. There's a meme. It's like, it's going to be good when you go to school and see this or something like that. The younger kids wouldn't get that.
No. Robbie out in the chat just says he got back from watching Glass. He gives it a 4 out of 5. Says it was definitely worth the wait. Interesting.
You guys excited for Glass at all?
I don't know if I'd say excited, although I mean Split was good in Glass, and the what was that? Unbreakable.
Unbreakable.
I mean, those are 2 better Shyamalan flicks. I mean, this is like the sequel to those 2. I don't know. I can't say. I mean, I'm never excited for a Shyamalan movie, but
yeah, I would say like Unbreakable is probably the one that gets the most praise from people. I would think.
I think so.
These days.
Yeah, like I actually saw an article. I forget who wrote it, but they were like, trying to create this, trying to change everybody's minds about even the really bad Shyamalan movies. You know what I mean? Like, like a Shyamalan revival kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, what did Shyamalan do that was so bad?
There are no bad Shyamalan movies. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, well, speaking of Eric Freeman, Eric is in the chat tonight. He says, hey, Justin and the gang, another great show. Thanks, man. Hope you're doing well. We were just talking about you being at Frightmare, Texas Frightmare in when is that? May? It's in May, isn't it? May.
Late April or early May, something
yeah.
like that.
So just talking about that. I know Christian's going to be there, and I'm making the road trip, so it'll be fun. Let's see. Anything else on your list, Stingray?
Sure. Let's see. I was going to mention Gleaming the Cube. Only
Okay.
because this was my like brief stint into skateboarding,
Okay.
and it was primarily because of this movie. So
Okay.
yeah,
Gleaming the Cube. Interesting choice.
good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. Good
Yeah, I
stuff.
watched it recently. I like that. It's actually a pretty good movie.
Oh, my buddy Garrett's joined the chat tonight. What's up, Garrett? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Hope you're doing well. What about you, Lauren? Was there anything on your list that we didn't discuss?
Yeah, actually, my whole list was not discussed. But that's because by this period, I was really into tape trading with people, mostly European films and Japanese films. So, '89 is an interesting year because of what was happening globally. So, the first thing I'd say is the original TV movie version of The Woman in Black from the BBC. It's the scariest version of it. Forget about the Daniel Radcliffe version from a few years ago. It's a really, really scary, fun TV movie. There's just something about the TV movie medium from the late '70s through the early '90s, where that actually was, in a lot of cases, more effective than what was coming out theatrically, as far as actually being scary. And the Woman in Black is a great ghost story. It's just a great ghost story based on a phenomenal novel. So that's huge. Also from the UK, there's a more well-known film called Black Rainbow. It has Rosanna Arquette in it. She plays a psychic who has a relationship with a killer. She's not sure what that relationship is. It's a really spooky, haunting movie. Definitely feels like it's a lot earlier than '89, but it came out in '89. But if you would have thought from the tone and the acting style, it could easily have come out in '82. It has that kind of retro feel even by '89. In Japan, Tetsuo the Iron Man, which has anyone here seen it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's a unique watch.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. So, Piz, you talk about experience movies. Tetsuo is an experience movie, and you can't really describe the movie. I read the synopsis online and I laugh because that's not what I got out of the film at all. But prepare to see things that you can't ever unsee again. The same year, on the other hand, Japan also was in the beginning of its Godzilla revival. Godzilla versus Biollante came out that year, which I consider to be the best of that era. It has plot. It's a little longer. It has great characters, and the monster that Godzilla fights, Biollante, is simply unbelievably realized. It's all practical effects, but yet it looks like something we probably couldn't pull off with CGI today. Also, a big hit in Japan also was Zatoichi, the Blind Swordsman, which is a great exploitation film as well. It's about what it sounds like it's about. It's a swordman who cannot see, who just cuts a path of destruction on his goal to avenge his former master. It's an incredible movie. The two other things I have are really obscure, and getting a hold of either one of these is kind of a task at this point, but both of them are really well worth it. Out of Hong Kong, The Devil's Hunters, which was released in America as Ultra Force 2. You'd have to find it on VHS at this point. It's a great Hong Kong action film. And the thing that it's infamous for is it has these really long hand-to-hand combat fight scenes that are sped up to the speed of Three Stooges. Is unbelievable. It doesn't stop too. It's actually just one long action scene of a film. And
Wow.
out of Russia in '89, we had The Witch's Cave, which you can find trailers online. You can find versions of the movie online, but the full-length version is really worth searching out. It's a sword and sandals science fiction film, which, if that sounds like it's completely in contradiction, it is. It makes very little sense. It is very, very cheesy, but you have to, again, it's an experience movie. You watch it. You won't find subtitles that actually match the movie either. That's the other thing. So you can have a fun drinking game of your own creation. But it's wild. If you like psychedelic cinema, it's definitely a great film, and it bears a lot of similarities and ways to that Hellraiser film in space. In that it makes as little sense and it jumps through time periods the same way. But that was pretty much my list.
Okay. A lot of interesting choices. A lot of interesting. A lot of deep dives from.
Well,
Warren.
yeah. Well, I was looking at '89. I really was, and I was like, "Am I really going to sing the praises of The Fly too?" I don't think so. So.
Oh yeah, I like The Fly too.
Do you?
Yeah, I like The Fly too.
Put that bastard in the cage just like he did with that dog. Son of a bitch.
There you go. Yeah. I like The Fly too. It's a fun movie. Now, what was that movie you were telling me about today? Or you emailed me about it. You were like, if you like Mandy, checked out this movie. It was a Japanese film, wasn't it?
It's a Hong Kong film called Her
Okay.
Revenge.
Okay.
And did you watch the trailer?
Not yet. No.
Good. You should go to my link and watch that trailer. Because, as wild as Mandy is, this film is just as great. It's an I Spit on Your Grave ripoff, but it passes through some really bizarre territory, including fights with handicapped people. And, well, you have to watch the trailer. It's an unbelievable film. It's hard to find again. And again, finding it with subtitles at this point is probably impossible, but it's so worth it.
Okay. No. Okay. Let me see. Let me get. Okay. I'm about.
I don't think you'd have a copyright problem if you were to play it.
Well, probably not. No, probably not. All right. I'll save it for later. It for later. But yeah. If it's as crazy as me, and I still need to watch The House with Laughing Windows that you recommended.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's absolute classic. That's not in that vein at all, but it's an absolute classic.
Just really good giallo.
Yeah, best ever.
Yeah. Let's see if there were any movies on my list that we didn't talk about tonight. No, I think we pretty much got it. Well, here's a movie that used to always hit me in the feels as a kid. Field of Dreams. Always hit me in the feels at the end when he's like, when the ghost of his dad is like, do you want to play catch? I choked me up as a kid. And I know Christian mentioned The Burbs, but I love The Burbs.
Mm-hmm.
Love The Burbs. Good stuff.
If you're gonna talk baseball, baby, how you not gonna bring up Major League, the greatest baseball movie ever made?
Did that come out in '89?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, Major League's
my favorite. That's me and my dad's movie growing up.
Major League is pretty good. I mean, there's no doubting that. The Wild Thing.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Willie Mays Hayes. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, that first one was so good. So good.
And they went and made it like PG-13 with the second one. Is that what they did?
Yeah, nobody wanted to do it. They got Charlie to do it, and then the Charlie did it, and then the voodoo guy did it, but they never got Wesley. Wesley was taken off though, so he was doing Demolition Man, I think, at the time.
Oh man, yeah, that's
But
a good movie.
I was thinking about it, Piz, 89, like non-horror. If I didn't say non-horror movies, Lethal Weapon 2, I'm obsessed with Lethal Weapon 2. I like all of them, but the second one is so kick-ass to me, man. Yeah, so there is good movies in 89. More so non-horror for me, but yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Chaz4543 mentions Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh my God, yeah, that Weekend at Bernie's is fantastic. Fantastic.
Let's see here. Joe Bob Tar Heel, he mentions Parenthood. He's right there with you on Parenthood. Stingray. The Horror Reel mentions The Burbs. Ghostbusters 2, which somebody mentioned Ghostbusters 2. Thoughts? Let's thoughts on Ghostbusters 2. I know it's not on the level as Ghostbusters, but still good in my
like
opinion.
it, but I saw it in the theater when I was a kid and loved it then, so it's got a little special place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I can't lie, a lot of people that latch on to certain films, I realize it's because of how old I was when I saw it originally, so I realize it's not nearly as good as the first film, but I like it.
Well, I mean, the first film set the bar really high, though.
Oh yeah, it's Americana, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I read an article that's the only sequel movie Bill Murray's ever done. I don't know if that's true or not. Like, he's never done a part 2 of anything.
This fucking guy, man.
Wasn't
like, he's so fucking great.
Garfield film?
Wasn't he in like those Charlie's Angels sequels?
I mean, like, I don't know if I don't mean like necessarily like he was in a sequel of a franchise. Like, he's never done a part 2 of a movie he did a part 1 for. Like, it's the only sequel to a movie he's ever done.
Didn't he do 2 Garfield films? I feel like he did.
I wouldn't doubt it. And I don't, like I said, I don't know the validity of this, but I read it, so.
He was the voice of Garfield in both those movies.
I feel like hipsters these days would just get in line to blow Bill Murray. Like I don't really understand what's so appealing about the guy. I mean, he's done a few good movies, a handful at best. I don't get it.
Chevy Chase is the man. I love Chevy.
I saw a video of Bill Murray like leaving a hotel, and like this big crowd of people was outside. Bill, and like he walked over to him. And in one hand, they would have a pen and paper for him to sign, and in the other hand, they had a bill, a dollar, like a 20. I'm guessing at least a 20. So all Bill did, he walked up, didn't look at anybody, would take the bill, take the thing, sign it, hand it back, take a bill, sign it, hand it back, take the bill, sign it, hand it, and somebody was like just Bill, the same guy, just like right in his face, Bill, and finally Murray goes, "Can you stop?" And so, yeah, that's how you get Bill Murray's attention. You ignore him, and then he'll, not even money, so we'll get him to like look at you. But if you ignore, if you annoy him, but it's funny because he just, take the bill, sign the thing, take the bill, sign the thing, take the bill, sign the thing. So I mean, he probably made $500 just, in 2 minutes like that. So, but yes, interesting little video. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. CBN Seagull throws that one out there. I agree with you, Chaz. Jason Takes Manhattan. It's. I don't know if I'd even go so far as to say it's bad, but I mean, I love it. I can't say it's bad. I love it. It's watchable.
Good answer.
Hell yeah.
Let's see.
It's bad. Doesn't mean we can't love it. But.
Max Punishment wants to know if his Fire Orc request came true. Yes. We fired him because you asked for it, Max.
Orc's been terminated. We've been teetering on this for years now. It's just...
It was time. It was time.
As far as like legitimately good movies, I've been joking with a lot of these movies that I just, personally like a lot. But like Drugstore Cowboy, I think is a really good movie. Gus Van Sant's one of my favorite directors. Black Rain. You guys seen Black Rain?
Oh yeah. Yep.
I like that one a lot, and hardly anyone ever talks about it. Of course, you got all the Oscar stuff like Driving Miss Daisy and Born on the 4th of July, which those are both okay movies, but they are what they are.
I like Tango and Cash a lot.
Dude 217 says Dead Poet Society. Toffee 20 mentions Hunt for Red October. Chris Wynn is showing, our old buddy Chris Wynn is showing some love for Halloween 5.
I thought the Hunt for Red October was 90.
I thought so too.
I'm not sure.
He's close enough.
It says 90. Yeah, I mean, I was getting some discrepancies on when I was looking as well. So
okay,
I know what happens.
Dude 217 says No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Abs-dookie.
Lauren, your thoughts on No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan?
I've never seen it.
Come on, what are you doing?
I've never seen it.
Watch a Hulk Hogan promo. It's the same thing.
Casualties of War, says Joe Bob Tarhill. We've actually got some garbage. Oh no, wait a minute. Garbage Pail Kids was 87.
Sorta.
Dream a Little Dream with the Coreys. Oh my God, Bradley Taylor, UHF with Weird Al Yankovic. Come on, how can nobody mention UHF?
I'll never eat a Twinkie hot dog the same.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, was that 89?
It was.
Good Google.
Okay.
That movie's sort of a mess, and people give it a lot of passes. Connery's great in it. Ford is great in it. The movie doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay. Our buddy Rambo Raff was in the chat earlier. He says, hello, folks. Some of my favorite 1989 films include Leviathan, Gleaming the Cube, Dead Bang, Cyborg, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Miracle Mile, Lock Up, Tango and Cash. And that's just to name a few. I knew. Forgot about Tango and Cash, but Rambo saved us on that one.
Miracle Mile was 88.
Was it? Okay.
Absolutely. It would be on my list. I love that film.
Cameron's joined us. What's up, Cameron? How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you? I got home late and saw you guys were still on. Figured I'd hop on for at least however long you guys were on. So.
Oh, yeah. No, you hopped on just in time. Have you got any favorite movies from 1989 you want to share?
Well, first of all, it's kind of funny about the 1988 show, right? I had all these titles in my head, and then we got reminded that we already did that show. So I switched over to 89. 89 is no dud either. I'm sure you guys have talked about a number of these movies. It was, for a long time, the definitive summer movie year. I mean, because you had Batman, which was everywhere, Lethal Weapon 2, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It was kind of like 1, 2, 3. Also, unexpected movies like Weekend at Bernie's kind of came out and just made so much money. But looking over here, looking at some of the titles here, I mean, The Abyss, Do the Right Thing, When Harry Met Sally, I mean, Back to the Future 2, I really liked that movie, although it has a ton of problems in it. I remember at the time seeing it, very few people liked it. And they really were upset at the fact that the movie ended with a to be continued trailer for part 3. But that movie has really gained in popularity over the years. I think people now think that part 2 is the best one of the series, which is kind of funny. But let's see here. I heard you guys were just talking about Ghostbusters 2, Born the 4th of July, Sex Lies and Videotape, UHF. Field of Dreams. That's one of the great films. We've had some crappy films like Jason Takes Manhattan, and Karate Kid Part 3. But this was the year that Eddie Murphy decided to write, produce, direct, do the cinematography, edit, and star in his own movie, Harlem Nights. So I mean, there's some really good films here too. I mean, I don't know. But I just remember 1989 being the summer, especially the summer of Batman. It was everywhere. And then Lethal Weapon 2. I remember being a kid, I could not believe, spoilers, that they killed his girlfriend. And that shot of him carrying her dead body on the beach back and forth. I mean, it's pretty hardcore for a mainstream Warner Brothers, film in 1989. Mm-hmm. And they never let that series get that dark again, if you noticed. But now Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, that was the final film in the series. I do not recognize whatever they came out with in 2008 as part of the series. It's more of a coaster disc than anything else. But I mean, it's a good year. I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't know about some of the other titles you guys have talked about tonight. So hopefully I didn't repeat anything. No. I
mean, you repeated some, but that's fine. They deserve to be repeated. That's for sure. They deserve to be repeated.
But Field of Dreams came out, and that co-starred what is his name? Ray Liotta, who's coming off Something Wild and Dominic and Eugene, and it was based off those 3 films and Field of Dreams that he got the bankability for Scorsese to make Goodfellas. So, and that's just he knocked it out of the park with that film the next year. So. Mm-hmm.
Lots of great comedies to come out that year too. See No Evil, Hear No Evil is one of my favorites. It really is one of my favorite prior Jay Wilder collaborations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And even looking at something like Glory, I mean, I remember being as a kid going to see that movie and that head exploding in the first minute of the movie and just going, "What the hell is this movie?" Yeah. It's kind of a surprising moment.
Yeah, I like Glory. I like Glory.
To me, Glory is like, it's 2 VHS tapes. Do I want to do it?
Ah, man. Do
No,
you guys?
but there's just moments in the theater that you remember, and I remember just seeing that head exploding in the beginning of the movie, going, "Oh my god, okay, that's what kind of movie this is."
Do you guys remember the old, the 2 VHS movies? Like, when you rented that, like, you knew you were like, oh man, I'm gonna have to invest in this movie. Like, it was like Braveheart, Casino,
The Godfather.
Heat, The Godfather. Yeah, White Earp, The Thin Red Line,
Barry
what I mean?
Lyndon.
Yeah, exactly.
But Barry Lyndon was even worse because it wasn't just the double; it came in the double tape clamshell. So it really looked like the Bible was being thrown at you. So. And I got to tell you, those big cassettes for a long time were why I stayed away from some of those movies until I was, maybe a late teenager, early college, because they just scared the hell out of me. It looked like I was going to have to invest like my firstborn in to see it.
It's like homework or something,
Yeah, but then when they came out on like DVD and non-flipper DVDs, that just kind of changed everything. It was like, okay, cool, But even The Godfather Part 3 came out in a double tape, and a gold double tape. It was like solid. It was like solid gold. So,
look what I found, guys. Friday the 13th Part 5, not VHS. Beta. I'm bringing Beta back.
Wow.
Bringing Beta back, guys.
Well, seeing all those vinyls in Barnes & Noble makes me think Laserdisc is eventually going to come back, too.
I got a clamshell of that, Piz.
Ah, cool.
Do you have a Beta player by chance?
Hell no. I got to have Friday 5 on Beta. Who doesn't?
What's funny, though, about that, like, the box and the tape look brand freaking new. You know what I mean? Granted, it's a dead format, but I mean, it's been somewhere for 30 something years, almost 40 years. So I mean, it's in like excellent freaking condition.
I don't know if it's a regional thing or what, but I didn't know what the hell a Beta was. I just knew like Al Bundy talked about it all the time.
My girlfriend didn't know what a Beta was. I had to explain it to her the other night. I was like, the original format war, you know what I mean? VHS versus Beta. I said, Beta was, it's smaller, so it's easier to store. It was you could put more tape on it. It was apparently better quality. But the whole reason VHS was cheaper to produce, and the porn industry went VHS. That's why every family in the 80s had a VCR in their home. If it had gone the other way and porn adopted Beta, we'd all had a Betamax in our home in the 80s. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Beta also did a lot better in metropolitan areas where there was like retailers like Crazy Eddie's, if you're in my section of the world, which really supported the format. But there wasn't enough of those regional retailers that really wanted to support it, because most retailers didn't, in the early days of the formats, didn't really have enough of an audience base. They didn't have the customer base to really support both formats. So you had retailers picking sides, and VHS was cheaper all around. So that played a huge role. I mean, unfortunately, most people didn't have a preference when they walked in the store. It was what they could see in front of them.
That sounds about right.
Well, I'm convinced that Blu-ray only won just because it was called Blu-ray. It sounded better than HD DVD, and I think the title had a lot to do with it too. Not just Sony having anything to do with it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right.
Like, wasn't Beta like still big, and like news stations still use Beta like before the switch to digital?
They were on like three-quarter tape, yeah. But
like, not that long ago.
No, yeah.
So, that's kind of interesting.
Beta cartridges were being used for things that they would have to reuse, like station promos and things like that.
Because, I mean, the quality is better on a Beta, right?
It's slightly, but not by modern standards.
I remember watching a documentary on it. It's supposed to be able to read the film and the tape cleaner and better. So And I think only Sony made it. That's what kind of screwed them up a little bit. They never let anybody else distribute the machines. So, boring.
Joe Reese messages me on Facebook and he says, on Rad, I read it's not the music, it's the woman that plays Crew's mom. Her production company made the movie and she will not let it be released. And Lionsgate has the distribution rights now, but she refuses to let it be released. It's interesting.
So Jay, this is what it looked like.
Wow.
This is what news tape looked like.
Oh, so that's bigger, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's bigger. All right. Yeah, but look at these. Look at this thing.
Wow.
So, yeah, this is how we used to edit. You'd shoot on film, and then you would edit the 3/4 tape, and then I haven't seen like my final projects in college since I was in college because I don't have a player for this thing. But yeah, but that's what the news stations used, and then they switched. And then they switched over to like the little mini tapes, and then they to the cards and stuff like that. So,
okay, interesting. Let's see what's going on out in the chat. Max Punishment's laughing at us for all of our Vintage Friday Part 5 stuff. How dare you?
How many formats do you own it on?
Blu-ray, DVD. Hold on.
Yeah, it's like 17 different DVDs of it.
Regular, old school VHS. Let's see. Where's my new German? Let's see. Where'd that go? Hold on. New German Blu-ray media book.
Oh, wow.
Already tagged there 13.
I've got another German media book, and that's it. So Blu-ray, several Blu-rays, DVD, VHS, and beta. And I may have the Laserdisc on the way. Maybe.
So they're expensive, bro. Get your hands on it. I got an old Japan VHS.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, Piz, for the record, you're still missing Laserdisc, but you got that fixed. The CED disc and the VHD you're missing still, huh?
I'll find them.
I bet you will.
Now, what he needs is a 35 millimeter print.
It was so right now there's a 35 millimeter print of the remake on eBay for $300.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Back when eBay first came out, I bought so many prints. It wasn't even funny. And I happened to be managing a movie theater at the time, so we just would have midnight showings all the time. We did Apocalypse Now and Halloween 5. Yes, I know. We had Dream Warriors. We had The Doors. It was a lot of fun. And one day we just like strung up about 3 hours of trailers and just watched that as one giant movie. And it was good times. That was before eBay, clamped down and you can't buy that stuff anymore.
Do you still have all those?
I have a few of the trailers left. And I used to have a few of the film prints, but Cinema Sickness bought them off me because I had no idea where to do. I said, you don't have a 35 millimeter print. I said, you want them? He goes, yeah. So he sent me all the money for the postage, and I packed it up, sent it to him, and then the post office on the way there like destroyed the boxes. So by the time he got it, all the film had fallen off the reels.
Oh
no! And so he doesn't, I guess, have a friend to wind it back up. So it's just sitting there in boxes, all in pieces.
Oh wow!
But yeah, he got a few of the prints, and so he was like he paid for everything. So that was cool.
Did the room you were storing them in smell like a salad by chance?
No, I actually kept them in my garage because it was at the 70-degree temperature, like the mines, where they store things like that. So
I have a copy of Seven Doors of Death, the American hacked version of the Beyond, in my garage that is slowly turning to. Mm-hmm. But it was never complete to begin with. So
yeah, we had we did have a 35 millimeter print of Teen Wolf. I remember that. Which I would have totally given to you, Piz, if I had known you back then.
I said last I checked, those were pretty pricey on the auction sites. for good quality, 35 millimeter especially.
Oh yeah. Well, back then you could unload them. I got Dream Warriors for like $150.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that was worth it.
The problem was the postage was mailing these things through the country.
Yeah, I mean, I would get a UPS ground. I'd be like, take your time.
Yeah, I just looked up the 35 millimeter print of Friday the 13th remake. They want like $43 and something to ship it. So
that's pretty reasonable, actually.
Yeah, that's not bad for something that weighs like 20 pounds.
Yeah,
and that's a 5-reel film. So
yeah. Buddy of mine sold. He had like a ton of the original GI Joe figures and like vehicles and accessories, like a ton of them. And like he was like, I have no idea how much it's going to cost to ship these things. So he charged the guy like $100 to ship, and the shipping only turned out to be like 20 something bucks. So, yeah, but he was shocked. There was a lot of stuff, he said, and I can imagine. I had a ton of GI Joe stuff when I was a kid too. So
man, I've seen that damn aircraft carrier. Wow, that would have been awesome to have.
Yeah, those GI Joe figures go for big bucks, man.
It's like 7 feet long.
And they go for big bucks online too, man.
I'm sure.
So apparently, DJ in the chat, they tells me that he wants to know why I have an old TV in the background. Devin Faraci wanted to know the same thing once on Twitter. It's just I can play my VHS and my Laserdisc because they're not going to look good on a flat screen.
And you can play Field Sequential 3D on it.
Well, that too. But I have a ton of VHS and Laserdisc still that, like, I don't want them to look on a flat screen TV. I mean, they come out like this big. The wide, the Laserdisc, it's like so small. So it's pathetic.
Well, guys, let's go ahead and I guess we can call it a night. We've talked about 1989. I think till we've covered all the bases when it comes to 1989. But don't worry if we didn't. Well, in a couple of years from now, we'll probably cover 1989 again, or at least we'll try to. So, you never know.
Do you have a favorite film from that year?
My favorite film from '89? Let me see.
Yeah.
Let me get my list back out here.
It's a tough choice, man. There's a lot of good stuff.
I know.
I mean, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, that is a yeah. Jeez, I don't know. Ooh. I mean, I've got a pretty big list. I don't think I could narrow it down to just one, really.
We'll just say Friday 8.
Part 8. Yeah, Friday 8. That's it. There it is. Yeah.
Well, if you're talking about the trailer, sure, not the movie.
That was a good trailer. I know we mentioned Pet Sematary. Somebody mentioned Pet Sematary, but we really didn't go into any detail about it. But
it's all about the ant, right?
Zelda. Yeah, Zelda.
Man, I've shown my kids all kinds of crazy shit that I thought they would be freaked out by. That movie is the only one where I lost my privilege to pick what movie we're watching because of that damn ant.
Yeah. Well, that movie's just got like a really creepy just atmosphere to it overall. It's just very, I don't know. There's just a very creepy atmosphere to that movie overall. But yeah, once you get to Zelda, it's like right, yeah. That's some freaky stuff.
Yeah, it never bothered me, but I don't know. But
it's just
I wasn't that young when I saw it.
Freaky stuff. Like when she's trying to beat her, skeletal back to get the food dislodged. You know what I mean? Ugh.
I think Gage, like slicing Achilles tendons, is more scary than
Gage slicing its Achilles tendons are pretty good. Yeah. Biting out. I was watching that movie with my girlfriend actually, and she'd only seen the TV version, which doesn't show, or at the time didn't show Gage biting out Fred Gwynn's throat, and she was like, "Oh my god!" What she's like, "Oh my god!" I didn't know he did that. I was like, "Yeah, you've only seen the TV version."
I like that movie a lot, but I also can see how a remake could work. I think you could do it again.
I think a remake could work, or a reimagining, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I'll go watch it. Jeremy wants to see it. He wants to see Church. His favorite character is Church, the evil cat. So
But I don't know if anybody can outdo Fred Gwynn because he was kind of perfect.
He was so good. He was so good. Yeah. What year did My Cousin Vinny come out? Let's talk about My Cousin Vinny.
I believe it was 91, right?
Oh, okay.
Marissa Tomei won the Oscar.
We'll have to save that for our 91 show. Let's talk about the two Utes. Did you say Ute? My favorite line.
You were serious about that?
Oh God, Joe Pesci. We need to do a Joe Pesci retrospective one of these nights.
Shit, he killed it in Goodfellas. He stole a damn show in Goodfellas.
I know he did. He did.
There was a nice little debate on Twitter the other day asking who says motherfucker better, Joe Pesci or Samuel L. Jackson.
That's a hard one.
That is, yeah. I'd like to see them two in a movie together. Just
Gone Fishing 2.
there you go. They
Nine
could be,
heads in a duffel bag.
yeah, there you go. Or they could be like rival gang, rival crime bosses or something. I don't know. Make it happen, Michael Mann. So, anyway, let's go ahead. Let's call it a night, guys. We've covered all the bases from 1989. We're going to take next week off, and then we will be back the week after for another Sausage Factory. Big thanks to everybody who joined me tonight. Thanks to everybody who tuned in and watched along with us, everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for joining in with us tonight, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks. So have a great one. Take care, and peace.